Suspicion. Suspicion is one of those quiet forces in recovery that most of us don't talk about because it doesn't roar like anger or collapse like despair. Suspicion whispers, it creeps, it hides behind perfectly reasonable questions, and it disguises itself as caution, awareness, and self-preservation. But underneath that disguise, suspicion often reveals something else entirely. Fear that hasn't yet found its voice, hurt that hasn't yet been healed, experience that hasn't yet been understood, and a heart that hasn't yet learned to feel safe again. For many of us, suspicion wasn't an occasional emotion in active addiction. It was a way of life. We learned not to trust anyone because trusting people had gotten us burned. We learned to assume the worst because assuming the best had left us disappointed. We learned to question motives, intentions, commitments, and promises because over and over again, it felt like the world had shown us that nothing was stable, nothing was secure, and nothing was truly ours to rely on. Suspicion becomes a mindset long before we notice it. It convinces us that we're being careful, but really we're just bracing ourselves for hurt. It convinces us that we're being observant, but really we're scanning for danger that isn't even there. It convinces us that we're seeing the world clearly. The lens we're looking through has been cracked for years. And when we bring that cracked lens into recovery, it becomes incredibly difficult to trust the people, the truths, the experiences, and the growth that recovery asks of us. Hi, I'm Steve, and this is On Life's Terms. Every week we explore the principles, the challenges, and the real emotional work that recovery calls us to do. If you're growing, healing, or just trying to live a little more honestly than yesterday, you're in the right place. Thank you for being here. How suspicion develops. Suspicion often shows up early in recovery because we walk into the rooms with deeply rooted beliefs that no one helps without wanting something, that no one cares without an angle, that no one tells the truth without a hidden piece missing. We show up with a lifetime of evidence that the world isn't safe and a lifetime of habits that tell us we need to be on guard at all times. So when someone in recovery welcomes us warmly, suspicion steps in and says, "Why are they being so nice?" When someone offers help, suspicion whispers, "What do they want from me?" When someone tells their story honestly, suspicion questions, "Are they exaggerating? Are they leaving something out? Why should I believe this?" And when someone sets boundaries, suspicion twists it into personal rejection. When someone shows concern, suspicion turns it into judgment. When someone shares love, suspicion twists it into a trick. And each of these distortions makes recovery feel harder than it needs to be. Suspicion doesn't just distort how we see others, it distorts how we see ourselves. It convinces us that we can't be trusted, that our instincts are flawed, that our motives are questionable, that our recovery is fragile, that our growth is temporary. It plants little seeds of doubt that grow into vines wrapped tightly around our hope. And if we don't examine those vines, it can choke out the life we're trying to build. Suspicion is tricky because it often begins as a trauma response. Many of us have lived through betrayal, abandonment, abuse, lies, instability, chaos, mind games, manipulation, and emotional whiplash. Suspicion might have been the only thing that kept us safe in the environments we used to live in. But survival strategies aren't always recovery strategies, and suspicion, that fierce, quiet defender, doesn't always know when to step aside. How suspicion shows up in recovery. Recovery asks for honesty. Suspicion worries we'll be judged. Recovery asks for vulnerability. Suspicion warns people will use that against you. Recovery asks for connection. Suspicion says, connection is dangerous. Recovery asks for willingness. Suspicion says you're being tricked. Recovery asks for trust. Suspicion says trust gets you hurt. And if we listen to that voice without questioning it, we end up spiritually and emotionally isolated, even when we're surrounded by people who genuinely want to walk with us. Suspicion can prevent us from hearing the truth when the truth is exactly what we need. Someone might gently challenge our thinking, and suspicion turns it into an attack. Someone might offer guidance, and suspicion turns it into control. Someone might share their experience, and suspicion turns it into superiority. And each time we misinterpret love as danger, we reinforce the belief that we are alone. Suspicion feels reasonable. It feels smart. It feels like wisdom. But recovery asks more of us, to learn the difference between intuition and fear, between awareness and paranoia, between discernment and defensiveness. Suspicion rooted in reality can protect us. Suspicion rooted in unhealed pain can imprison us. Suspicion also shapes our behaviors. We stop sharing openly. We avoid building relationships. We look for hidden meaning in everything someone says. We get quiet in meetings because we're convinced someone is judging us. We pull back from people who genuinely care. We keep our distance from sponsors, home groups, friendships, and spiritual connections because suspicion tells us that closeness is dangerous. Sometimes suspicion even convinces us that relapse is safer than intimacy, because intimacy feels like standing unarmored in a world that once taught us to survive by wearing armor all the time. Suspicion makes recovery feel like a battlefield when it's supposed to feel like a sanctuary. Working through suspicion. The first step is acknowledging it, naming it, saying it out loud. I struggle with suspicion. Once suspicion is named, it loses some of its power. The second step is understanding where it comes from. Suspicion is rarely about the present moment. It's almost always about the past bleeding into the present. The third step is communication. Suspicion thrives in silence. It grows in assumptions. It feeds on unasked questions and unspoken fears. The fourth step is building a track record of safe experiences. Slowly, suspicion transforms into discernment. Discernment doesn't assume danger, it pays attention. Self-suspicion, trust, and a higher power. Suspicion also turns inward. Many of us struggle with self-suspicion, that quiet belief that we can't trust ourselves. But recovery is how we learn to trust ourselves again. Every clean day is a vote in favor of trust. Suspicion also affects our relationship with a higher power. Many of us arrive in recovery convinced that nothing in the universe could possibly be looking out for us. Suspicion says, you're alone. Recovery shows us we aren't. Suspicion says, everyone is a threat. Recovery shows us a community learning to heal together. Suspicion doesn't disappear because we wish it away. It heals through experience, honesty, connection, and willingness. Suspicion told us to prepare for the worst. Recovery invites us to hope for the best. Suspicion told us people can't be trusted. Recovery introduces us to people who show, through consistent action, that trust is possible. Suspicion helped us survive. Recovery teaches us how to live. If this message spoke to you, let me know. Drop a comment, share your experience, or send it to someone who might need it. And if you want more recovery-centered content every week, make sure you subscribe or follow so you don't miss the next part of the journey. We're walking this path together, one honest conversation at a time.